Okay, continuing with quotes from the Holy Grail Wisdom Quotes by E.P. Rogers, alphabetical order. This is John Swinton. He was a newspaper guy. He died around 1901. And just to show you, this was back in the 1800s. Listen to what he has to say. Well, no, how could they quote him as 1915? Maybe he lived longer than that. I'll have to double check that. Anyways, he says, "There is no such thing in America as an independent press, unless it is in the country towns. You know it, and I know it. I am paid $150 a week for keeping my honest opinions out of the paper that I am connected with. Others of you are paid similar salaries for similar things. And any of you who would be so foolish as to write his honest opinions would be out on the street looking for another job. We are the tools and the vassals of the rich men behind the scenes. We are the jumping jacks. They pull the strings and we dance. Our talents, our possibilities, and our lives are the property of other men. We are intellectual prostitutes. There is not one of you who would dare to write his honest opinions. And if you did, you know beforehand they would never appear in print." Yeah, that tells you the truth. Oh, there's one more. He says, "The business of the journalist is to destroy the truth, to lie outright, to pervert, to vilify, to fawn at the feet of Mammon." Mammon is the god of money. "And to sell his race and his country." Yeah, the press, the mainstream media, basically is owned by billionaires who want to destroy the country and corrupt it and make it immoral and all that stuff. That's been well known for a long time. But I can tell you, I know people that go to public schools and they think the newspaper's real, they think the TV news is real. It's like, if you think the newspaper and the TV news are real, then you're too stupid to watch my YouTube channel. Go somewhere else, okay? You're a moron. All right, continuing here is a quote from John Millington Synge. Just one quote. "A translation is no translation unless it will give you the music of a poem along with the words of it." Yeah, so it's hard to read poetry from another language. Okay, next we're going to do Publius Syrus. This will be the last one today, Publius Syrus. And he was a Syrian that was made into a Roman slave, and he impressed his master with his cleverness, and he was allowed to become educated, and later he became kind of famous. He said, "Learn to see in another's calamity the ills which you should avoid. Ignorance is bliss. Where there is unity, there is always victory." Yeah, that's another reason why Christians, for example, are so ununified. That's why they're so weak. They're the biggest religion in the world, 2.3 billion people. But all the typical Christians, they're jealous of each other, they're petty, they're stupid, they don't help each other. And that's why they're being destroyed and they're being targeted for removal from the planet. Because they're a bunch of petty little dumbasses, okay? They don't help each other, okay? Somebody from another ethnic group writes a book, they get all these reviews, they get all this support. You know, a Christian writes a book or does something, I get hardly any reviews, next to none, and then all the Christian websites, not a YouTube channels, not a single one will interview me, not one. Okay? I'm not even in competition. I don't do religion on a routine basis. I don't do, all the art channels won't interview me, not a single one. Not a single person was interested in interviewing me, not one. And I've seen it too in education, etc. They don't help each other. And then they're all jealous, you know. All right, Publius Syrus continues. "He who wishes to injure another will soon find a pretext. Anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm. To call yourself happy is to provoke disaster." That's the other thing too, is I've noticed that if people are unhappy, the best thing to do is just avoid them. Because they get pissed off when you tell them that you're happy about something. It's weird, but it's true. People who like being unhappy mopes, they get angry if you don't. Yeah, and then the other thing that's weird too is a lot of people have these like fairy tale notions of the second coming is going to happen soon and everything's going to be okay. Yeah, right. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And right now it's looking like more like bad things are going to happen than good things are happen. I wish that wasn't true. You know, I'll just do the best I can every day and whatever happens, happens. But unless something changes in a big way, I don't see things getting better real fast. I see massive unemployment. I see massive inflation. All right, Publius Syrus. He says, "Every day should be passed as if it were our last. He lessens the favor conferred who waits to be asked." Yeah, it's like saying he doubly benefits the needy who gives quickly. "Observation, not age, brings wisdom." Yeah, the way you learn about how the world works is look what people do. Don't look what they say. People lie all the time. They always want to say nice, polite things. But behind the scenes, They make their decisions based on self-interest, based on money, based on, helping the co-ethnic over a non-co-ethnic or a co-religionist over a non-co-religionist. There's not that many people who just do the right thing, even when it's not against their immediate sort of other interests, popularity, social, financial, etc. Okay, we are interested in others when they are interested in us. An orator's life is more convincing than his eloquence. An attractive appearance is a silent recommendation. I think that's true. I mean, basically, you can't change the fact of your face, how good looking or ugly your face is, but you could be in shape. You could get a suntan. You could exercise. You could dress nice. You could lift weights and be physically strong, and so you look fit. Anybody could do that. And that makes a big difference in your appearance. Why not do it? Okay, people say, oh, well, the billionaires wear T-shirts. Well, they can wear a T-shirt because they're a billionaire. A regular person can't do that if they want to look good. Okay, I always wear a dress shirt, usually a tie if I'm going to ever go out in public, other than just going to work and coming home, because I know I get treated a lot better if I'm dressed nice. Okay, it takes a long time to bring excellence to maturity. That is true. Basically, your brain and your judgment, that doesn't develop until you're about over 50, Like I said, I've never in my life seen a good medical talk if the doctor was less than 40 years old, really probably 45. The young ones, they usually just don't have any experience to say anything worth listening to, that, you couldn't get better out of a book. Anyways, I hope you found that helpful. I think that was my last quote here. Yep.